All right, strap in because today we are diving headfirst into a Dragon Ball universe crafted by you, the fans. That's right, we're taking a deep dive into rebuilding Dragon Ball. And let me tell you, this ain't your typical what if scenario. We're talking about not one, but TWO parallel timelines, each more mind blowing than the last, each with its own unique spin on Goku, Vegeta, and a whole mess of power ups that would make even Wiz raise an eyebrow.
It's really a testament to the creativity of the Dragon Ball fandom. They've taken these iconic characters and really run wild with them, exploring all these alternate paths and what-ifs.
So before we get lost in the multiverse, could you give us a quick rundown of these timelines, just so we're all on the same page?
Absolutely. So, in Timeline 1, we've got Goku achieving a form called Super Saiyan Rose Imperfect. Yeah, you heard that right, Super Saiyan Rose Imperfect. It's tied to Kaioshin Ki, the energy of the Supreme Kais, which is a whole other ballgame compared to, say, Super Saiyan Blue. Meanwhile, Vegeta in this timeline unlocks a little something called Super Saiyan 4 God. Now, Timeline 2 takes a bit of a different turn. We're talking about both Goku and Vegeta eventually reaching perfected Super Saiyan Blue. But don't let that fool you. This timeline's got its own share of twists and turns.
It's like two sides of the same coin, right? Like both timelines tap into that classic Saiyan drive to constantly push beyond their limits, but in wildly different ways.
Exactly. And the real kicker, the divergence point for these two timelines, the Baby Saga.
Oh boy, baby. The Tuffle parasite with a serious vendetta and a knack for turning Saiyan against Saiyan. So how does he go from, trying to conquer the Earth to becoming the architect of this whole multiversal mess?
Well, it starts in Timeline 1. Baby hatches this plan to control Vegeta, thinking he can use the Saiyan Prince's power for his own evil schemes. But, and here's where it gets interesting, Baby's plan backfires spectacularly.
I'm guessing it has something to do with Vegeta's, shall we say, stubborn nature.
You could say that. Instead of crushing Vegeta, Baby inadvertently pushes him to achieve Super Saiyan 4 even while under Baby's control.
Classic Vegeta, always finding a way to flip the script. But how does this lead to a whole new timeline?
Well, Baby being Baby, he's not one to give up easily. He senses another powerful Saiyan he can exploit, Trunks. So he does what any self-respecting, power-hungry parasite would do. He fuses with Trunks, creating Baby Trunks, and uses him to travel through time, hoping to manipulate events in his favor and wipe out the Saiyan threat once and for all.
Time travel. Talk about a recipe for disaster. So that's how Timeline 2 is born. Baby Trunks trying to rewrite history.
Exactly. And believe me, this is just the tip of the iceberg.
I can only imagine. Okay, so we've got two timelines, one born from a desperate gamble, the other shaped by Baby's meddling. But let's backtrack a bit to Timeline 1 and this whole Super Saiyan Rose Imperfect thing. I mean, we've seen Goku achieve some pretty wild transformations over the years, but this is next level stuff.
It really is something else. We're talking about Goku, a Saiyan known for his pure, almost instinctual approach to fighting, now wielding the energy of gods. But here's the catch. It's imperfect, unstable.
Sounds risky. Like, is Goku biting off more than he can chew here?
That's the million zini question, and it's one of the things that makes this fan-made story so compelling.
All right, so while Goku's dabbling in divine energy, albeit a slightly wonky version of it, what's Vegeta up to in Timeline 1?
Vegeta. You know he wasn't going to let Goku have all the fun. No, Vegeta's in Otherworld pushing himself to the absolute limit through sheer grit and determination.
Sounds about right.
And the result? He manages to combine the raw power of Super Saiyan 4 with his newfound divine energy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Super Saiyan 4 God.
Now that's a name that just screams power. You gotta love Vegeta. Even in death, he's still finding ways to surpass his limits and, let's be honest, show up Goku.
He's nothing if not persistent. Now, where were we? Ah yes, Timeline 2. Baby Trunks, fresh off his little jaunt through time, he arrives on the scene, ready to wreak havoc.
And I'm guessing he's not there for tea and crumpets.
Not quite. But here's the thing. Instead of running into Goku or Vegeta like you might expect, he comes face to face with Gohan.
Gohan, huh? Talk about being thrown into the deep end.
Tell me about it. But Baby, always the opportunist, he senses a potentially more powerful host in this timeline. So what does he do? He ditches Trunks. Just like that, leaves him high and dry.
Ouch. Can you imagine? 1 minute you're dealing with time travel and parasitic infections, the next you're yesterday's news?
Talk about a raw deal.
So, what's Baby's next move? Who's the unlucky soul he set his sights on now?
Get this, Hachiak.
Hachiak. I thought who was, out of commission.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But Baby, he's got a knack for pulling surprises. He sees potential in Hachiyak, an untapped well of raw, untamed energy just waiting to be exploited.
So we're talking about a fusion, baby and Hachiyak.
Bingo. Baby Hachiyak.
That just sounds terrifying.
Terrifying and brilliant.
And probably more than a little dangerous.
Oh, absolutely.
So how do Goku and Vegeta handle this curveball?
Well, word gets back to them about this new threat, obviously, and they know they need to act fast. Luckily, they've got a few new tricks up their sleeves.
Oh, do tell.
Remember how Trunks got all buddy-buddy with Baby for a hot minute there? Turns out that experience had some unexpected perks. Trunks picked up a thing or two about fusion.
Hold on, fusion. Are we talking about the Metamoru fusion dance?
The one and only.
But doesn't that have a time limit?
It does. But sometimes a temporary power boost is all you need.
So who's doing the fusion dance this time? Don't leave me hanging.
Get ready for the return of Gohanks.
Gohanks, now we're talking. That's some serious firepower.
You know it.
But even with Gohanks on their side, can they really take down this baby Hachiyak monstrosity?
Well, that's the million zini question, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a battle for the ages. Gohanks, the combined might of two Saiyan warriors, going up against this force of nature.
You know, it's funny. We've got these two timelines, right? And in a way, they kind of represent these two different paths to power. Like timeline 1 with Goku and the whole Super Saiyan Resin Perfect thing. It's all about pushing boundaries, embracing the unknown, even if it means getting a little messy.
I see what you're saying.
But then you've got timeline 2, and it's like a completely different approach.
Oh, so.
Well, instead of stumbling upon divine energy through, let's be honest, a pretty unorthodox method,
You're not wrong.
Goku and Vegeta in this timeline, they end up training under Beerus, the god of destruction himself.
Now, that's a training arc I would have loved to see.
Right. Can you imagine Beerus with his, shall we say, unique teaching methods, pushing Goku and Vegeta to their absolute limits?
It would be legendary.
But it wouldn't be about unlocking some flashy new transformation.
More like honing what they already have.
Exactly. Pushing the boundaries of Super Saiyan Blue, mastering its full potential.
It really makes you wonder which path leads to greater strength, doesn't it?
It's like two totally different approaches to fighting, right? On one hand, you've got this raw, almost primal power, and on the other, it's all about precision and control. You really got to wonder which version would Frieza find more challenging.
See, that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. We're not just talking about different versions of Goku and Vegeta. We're talking about Frieza, too. This isn't the same tyrant who got taken down on Namek. Golden Frieza has had time to analyze Goku and Vegeta, learn from his past mistakes.
He's had to up his game, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking about a level of power that rivals even the gods of destruction. So it really begs the question, when these titans clash, how do those different paths to power, those unique transformations, tip the scales?
Okay, so let's break it down. Timeline 1, we've got Goku rocking Super Saiyan Rose Imperfect. It's powerful, sure, but it's got that whole instability thing going on.
Right, there's a vulnerability there that Frieza, with his strategic mind, might be able to exploit.
And then you've got Vegeta with Super Saiyan 4 God, overflowing with divine energy and I'm guessing a whole lot of pent-up frustration.
Oh, you know Vegeta's been waiting for a rematch with Frieza ever since, well,
Since Planet Vegeta went kablooey, yeah. So Timeline 1 is shaping up to be quite the showdown.
No doubt about it.
But then we've got Timeline 2, Goku and Vegeta both rocking perfected Super Saiyan Blue, honed to perfection thanks to their training with Beerus. How does Frieza even begin to counter that?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Because Frieza, he's a master strategist. He knows Goku and Vegeta's fighting styles, their weaknesses. But how do you counter a power that's not just about brute force, but about perfect control?
It's like trying to outmaneuver a shadow.
Exactly.
You know, this is what makes your take on Dragon Ball so captivating.
I'm glad you think so.
It's not just about the epic battles, although those are amazing. It's about the possibilities.
The what-ifs.
Exactly. What if Goku had access to this power? What if Vegeta trained under this mentor? You've taken these iconic characters and breathed new life into them.
It's a testament to the enduring legacy of Dragon Ball, really. Even after all these years, there are still new stories to tell, new battles to fight.
So we've explored two timelines, two very different paths to power, and two epic showdowns with Golden Frieza. But the real question is, does Frieza meet the same fate in both? Or does the very act of rewriting history have consequences that ripple through the multiverse? That, my friends, is something for you to ponder. This has been an amazing deep dive into your Dragon Ball universe, and honestly, you've knocked it out of the park.